cool area. Yeah, I'm now.
Well, on that day, April 25th at 10 a.m., we were on top of that mountain. It's about 7,000 feet high. And we just climbed it. We had breakfast on the top and we were walking down when the entire mountain, and actually the whole of central Nepal, moved. And immediately we knew it was an earthquake. And our suspicion was what we'd been writing about for the last 15 years, which is this is the big one. So this is above 8 magnitude, and it's going to kill 100,000 people in Kathmandu Valley. And we looked down at the valley, which is right down below us. There was puffs of dust coming up from various parts of the city, and these clouds of dust just merged into this brown blanket that just covered the whole valley. And we saw this is it. So we feared for our families. Some of our staff members who were up there for the retreat, they started crying. And we tried to reach them through phones. Of course, the phones were jammed. And as we headed down and the dust cleared a bit, and through my binoculars I could see that many of the tall buildings were intact. Then finally we heaved a sigh of relief because we knew that it wasn't as bad as we thought. Patan, actually, it was just these 4 or 5 monuments that were destroyed, and this whole area was covered in dust. This temple had come down, and there were about a dozen people trapped underneath. Krishna Mandir is intact. There's some instability inside, and I think they're going to repair it. But the residential buildings, by and large, were intact. There was a neighborhood down this way, about 100 meters away, where 4 members of a family were killed. But compared to Bungamati and Sakhu and Bhaktapur, the residential areas are more or less intact here. For some reason, even in a minor earthquake, Bhaktapur has always been badly hit. So there's something about the soil in Bhaktapur, maybe also its location towards the eastern edge of the valley, where perhaps the shock waves can tend to get magnified or concentrated. So Bhaktapur has always been badly hit. You know, monuments is not really a priority. I think priority is up in the mountains, where it's now really dead of winter. And people are still living in tents. Classrooms are being held in tents. So that's the priority, and I think there the government has really fallen short and failed.
Kavit जिल्लाको रोयल गाविस वार्ड नम्बर 6 मा पर्ने फलाम गाउँ यो गाउँको नाम चाहिँ यो गाउँमा हामी लगभग 94 घरहरू छौँ 94 मा सबै 2-2 तला थिए के प्राय सबै अब तपाईले भन्नुपर्ने फोटो चाहिँ तपाईले फोटो देखाउन सक्नुहुन्छ यस्तै थियो पहिला हैन यस्तो थियो अहिले अब कुनै घरमा नि अब 2-3 घर देखिरहनु पर्छ तपाईहरुले त्यो नि बस्न लायकको भने कुनै घरै छैन त्यसै सबैजना आफ्नो सानो सानो टहरहरु जस्तो देखिरहनु भएको छ तपाईहरुले त्यस सानो सानो टहर बनाएर आफ्नो भएर बस्यो त्यसपछि हामीलाई केही दिन पछाडी चाहिँ सरकारबाट सानो राहत 15000 आयो
15000 त पाइसक्यो हामीले पाएर पनि के कोही जस्तो ल्याउने के गर्ने कुनैले उ गर्यो मेरो चाहिँ त पुरानै हो
नेपाल सरकारले कही कता केबाट आएको रे त्यो रकम दिने 10000 दिने भूकम्प पीडितलाई दिने जाडोलाई दिने लुगा वितरण गरौँ भनेर दिने 10000 माडिया रहेछ यो गाई विषयमा चाहिँ माडिया छैन अरु त
के गर्ने अब चिसोले त सबैलाई गाह्रो गर्छ अब चोटा कोठा हुन्थ्यो हैन चोटा कोठा भनेको हामीलाई भर्याङ भनेको त थाहा छैन अब चोटा कोठा नभएपछि हामी अब टहारमा सुन्नु परेछ चिसोले त हामीलाई त धेरै असर गर्छ
हैन दुई टाउ सिरगरो त राखिरहेछ कम्मलहरु त राख्छु है जाएर चिसो न चिसो हुन्छ के गर्ने
चिसो त चिसै छ अलि चिसै हुन्छ नि जस्तामा अब तर शीत चाहिँ यसो चुया छैन है शीतहरु कुनै ठाउँमा शीत चुइन्छ रे
त्यस्तो चिज चुहेको त छैन अब
पालिरहेछ नि त
अनि अरू ठाउँमा चुहिन्छ सिट चुहिन्छ जस्ताको अनि चिसो चाहिँ अलिक चिसै हुन्छ माटोको भन्दा त चिसै हुन्छ धेरै पानी परे बेला चाहिँ अलिक गाह्रै हुन्थ्यो कि पहिला चाहिँ सुत्न म त यहाँ बेलुका उता खाना खान्छु यता सुत्छु यता पनि टालिदिएको छ यता पनि टालिदिएको छ पर्दा अलिकति छेकाउडो अलिक यो चाहिँ यसको चिसो फेरि यता आउँछ त्यस कारण यसलाई पनि अलिकति यसलाई छेकिदिएँ हेर्नुहोस् घर बनाउनु पर्ने घर बनाउने अब यतिकै हो हेर्नुहोस् अब यति चाहिँ टालटुल गरेँ रिनधान गरेर अब 5 लाख रुपियाँ पनि खायो अर्को 60,000 पनि खायो त्यसले 5 लाखमा किनेको महिना दिन पनि राम्रोसँग बस्नु भएन मैले त्यो घर किनेको
खासै खानाको लागि चाहिँ त्यति खासै चाहिँ समस्या छैन बस्नको लागि चाहिँ एकदम समस्या यो छ अब घर बनाऊ भने अब यस्तो भिरालो चाहिँ घर बनाउन मिल्दैन अहिले अनि बसौँ भने यस्तो जस्तो बस्यो भने एकदम जाडो छ
The residents of Kathmandu had been complacent. There was so much pressure of urbanization that people were just building on top of very, very weak foundations. I mean, they were building 7 stories high. And I think they suddenly realized that, hey, this is going to cost lives. But unfortunately, like in most disasters in most parts of the world, the fear lasts only a few months. After that is back to business.
We always talked about the next earthquake that was going to come, and it was a Saturday. I was at home working in the morning, and this was going to be sort of the final version that I was submitting after putting in a major section on disaster risk management. So we were preparing for the earthquake, and I had sent it, but more or less 5 minutes before it started shaking, which was rather a shock. And I was at home. My son was with me, so I ran to his room, and that's about as much time as I had to move around, and then it really started shaking. So we stayed under a door frame in the middle of the house, and the time went very slowly. This one, it collapsed in the 34 earthquake, and it was just rebuilt like this sort of a white dome. And that which was rebuilt in the 34 collapsed. We prioritize conservation. We try to ensure that it is built back the way it was. It is also something that the community here seems to want. They want their heritage back to what it was. They don't want new structures. However, we need to do that understanding the traditional structural system, which we still need research on. And we need to understand if we introduce modern materials and technologies into the traditional system, what the impact is, because we see a lot of examples of previous strengthening that has been actually the cause for the collapse of monuments. So we really need to understand this better before we start introducing new ideas into these old systems.
The shock of the earthquake really, shook everyone up, and there's this sort of a determination to do something about it next time. But the political will, the urgency of it doesn't seem to be seeping into the rulers of Nepal. They're just too distracted by the constitution, by all this agitation in the south, all the other, the political games they have to play for power here. So earthquake preparedness is still in the back burner somewhere. So what we are trying to say through the media is to quote seismologists who are warning, without trying to spread too much panic, that, look, this was just a warning. That was not the big one. It's still coming, and we better be prepared. I don't regard earthquakes as natural disasters. They're man-made. Earthquakes don't kill people, weak buildings do. And why are buildings weak? Because we don't follow the codes that are there. The rules are all there. The regulations are all there. It's just that we don't follow them. We need to update them. and we need to enforce them and implement them. Either through a state that's strong, that can actually force people to implement them, or through public awareness where individuals and families will say, oh, we have to do this. We have to spend that extra money to make our house safe so we can sleep soundly at night.